So you have something here that maybe you've seen before, maybe you haven't. Why is this like that? Who's trying to irritate me? Maybe write it down. Maybe. Okay, this thing, this f and thing, is said as f of x. F of x. It's talking about a function of x. So you have this function here. Really? This is the exact same thing as y. It is another way of writing y. It's the same thing.
It's not the same way. It's not like y equals.
Right. So really, this would just say y equals. It's the same. It's a new notation. It's a way of writing it. Okay.
It's not like y times x then.
Nope. This is just f of x. There's no operation. There's no times. There's no nothing. You can't like divide by f. It's just another way of writing y. Okay. It means the same thing. And I could have written this, and this is what I was going to do. I was going to write y equals 3 times x minus 5. But I thought, hey, we can learn something new. Okay, so
we don't multiply that by x, right?
no, right now there's nothing you can do with that, right? It's just saying, here's a function, that's what it's called. And given this, okay, what I want you guys to do is evaluate now, someone, we're going to say 4, I'm going to do -3, and I'm going to do 0. Okay, so this top one says f of 4, right? We had f of x, now we have f of 4. So, someone who thinks they're good at making sense of structure, just looking at these, just visually looking. I'm not saying you have to even know what's really happening, but looking at this, compared to this, here we had f of x. Here we had f of 4. What happened?
Combine.
Looking at it. Charlie? Oh my gosh. You should be teaching. Okay? Look, instead of x, what do I have? 4. Okay? I plugged in 4 for x. So in order to figure out what f of 4 is, I take 4 and I plug it in for x over here. Yeah, times 3. Okay, so you're just plugging in 4. That's all really you're doing. So instead of just saying, hey, plug in 4, now we're looking at a new way that we're going to write it. And this is called a function or function notation. So I want you to figure out what's f of 4, what's f of -3, and what's f of 0. Yes, ma'am?
What is the 0 function?
I just made up these numbers.
Oh, so it's not from that?
Nope, they are not from here. It's just saying, okay, I want you to plug in 4. Plug in -3, plug in 0. Tell me what you get out if you put those in.
Wait, so the left 3 stay there?
Everything stays here. You're just plugging in a number for x. Okay, you're just plugging in a number for x. While you do that, how about your data and iPods homework? Data and iPods? Like we said, we're plugging in 4. Okay, so fairly straightforward. You guys have plugged in numbers a lot of times. 4 goes in for x, so x is now 4. 4 minus 5 is -1. And 3 times -1 is -3. And so we're going to write that like this. f of 4 is -3. Okay, that's what that says. So another way this says, it says when I plug in 4, I get out -3. Simply a notational piece, right? When I plug in 4, I get out -3. All right? And if we do that for each of them, here, back to the original equation, I'm plugging in -3 for x. The rest of it stays the same. There's still a 3 in front, still -5. But when I plug in -3, I get 3 times -8. which is negative 24. Right, so when I multiply those out, again, this says if I plug in negative 3 for x, if I plug in negative 3, I get out negative 24. That's what this says. And for the last one, plugging in 0. 0 minus 5 is negative 5. 3 times negative 5, negative 15. That's it. Yes, I agree. Okay, so technically, I'll just be totally straightforward with you. Technically, this is supposed to be one of our whole learning targets. We're not going to test it as a whole learning target. Like, there you go. Now you know. Okay? It's extremely important. It's a new way of writing. It's actually a more convenient way of writing functions. As you guys move on, like going into Algebra 3-4 and pre-calc, they only use function notation.
So
It's just a way of writing. It's not, it's not like a new math. It's just simply a new way of writing equations. It's a better way of writing once you know how to do it, because otherwise I say y equals this, plug in x, and you say plug in x equals 5. This says plug in 4 for x. It's shorter.
What would a profit equation look like?
A profit equation, if we were using this, yeah, because really, if we really got technical, well, profit equation, we would usually, it's called P of x for profit. Your profit is whatever revenue you make minus your cost.
Oh, okay.
Right? So our profit is how much we make minus how much it costs us, right? So P of x, and we'll look at some stuff looking at P of x as our profit as well. That's, I think, going to end up, your test on this stuff is going to end up being a project where some of you guys remember you have all of our money, our revenue and cost, our money in, money out. You have all of our revenue and cost, and I think our project is going to be finding out our profit equation for tech enterprises. That's going to be your test for this unit.
Are you serious?
Mhm.
That's tight.
R is revenue. Revenue and cost. Okay, so speaking of this type of stuff, production stuff, we are going to work, again, do some more work around precision and waste in production. Okay. I'm not going to explain too much because you guys are capable of reading. For this, though, you do need to be in teams of 4. So Quinn and Andrew, you guys are going to join forces over here. You guys are going to be a 4Z. Cece, you're going to go back to your seat. That makes my life a lot easier. Manuel, also, you're going back to your seat. Chris, you're going 6, and go Paul, you're going to come to table 5.
Wait, I'm going here.
No, here. You 2 over there. Go. Move so I have to see my 4s. You guys can handle having 3.
3.
You need a 8-inch square, 10-inch square. They have to be square, first of all. So we talked a little bit about square yesterday with our boxes. You need to also have squares, meaning 90-degree angles, meaning you don't just cut randomly. So keep that in mind. I'll remind you guys, talked a little bit about hypotenuse yesterday. Maybe something to consider. As a group, you're going to have to figure this out. Okay? You need these 4 square parachutes. You need 4 round parachutes. As a reminder, what's radius?
From the center.
Okay, from the center out. Whether or not, I don't care if you had geometry, these are all 7th grade and 8th grade topics, right? Area of a square, we all know. Area of a circle, you should all know. Okay? Nope, pi r squared. So your group Your team of 4 is responsible for 8 parachutes. Notice what it says right here. You are responsible for a square one and a circle one. You, each person in your team needs to take one square one, one round one. Okay? First, you're going to manufacture all of your parachutes. The only difference I have to say is that we said paper clip. This is going to be, what are those called? Butterfly clips?
Yeah.
Whatever.
These things right here.
Large clip. Binder
Are
clip.
gonna be-
Okay?
Yeah.
Yes, so they'll be heavier. So, okay? So we're going to do large clip, a binder clip, not a paper clip. That's the only difference. Before you can drop them, okay, because we're going to be looking at drop time for the different parachutes. Before you can drop them, you have to have them all manufactured. This again is your square. So right, whatever you as a team decide and break up, you're going to be working together, but each of you are responsible for one square parachute, one circle parachute, except for table 9, 8, whatever you guys are, you have more to do. A big thing to point out, you need to make sure that you don't waste any material. For each extra sheet of paper you have to get, there's going to be a 5% cut off your grade.
Wow. Materials all cost money.
Well, we gave you first semester. You guys messed up back there enough. We didn't cut it off your grade then.
Worth of stuff on a table that's all messed up.
Right? We didn't take it off your grade then. We've been talking about waste. We've been talking about being precise.
So one
We're not
kid
selling these parachutes.
turns
Okay.
his shirt upside down and now we all have to suffer.
Hey,
Yeah.
same thing we were talking about before. It's about being precise and not making waste. If you guys, if you plan a little bit and you make your own layout first, you're not going to have as much problem.
Wait, does each group only get one sheet of paper?
Each group gets, parachutes are made out of silk.
Really?
Yeah. Here, I'll give you the measurements. Shh. You just want to grab paper and start cutting?
Yes.
Okay, whoa. All right, here's the deal. Your paper. Whoops. Your paper is 32 inches by 26 inches. You will have an additional half sheet that is 26 inches by what, 16? 16. Okay? Those are the 2 pieces of paper you're going to get. As a team, you may want to consider layout before you just come grab your paper and start cutting and then realize, oh crap, we don't have more paper. Okay? You will get 1 sheet of paper and 1 half sheet of paper. If you have to ask for more, that's a 10% reduction.